Hey, welcome back. It's August 13th, and I've got some important announcements and news to share with you. Usually I leave this for the Friday walk-in videos, but given the amount of euphoria that we're seeing that is being brewed in the financial markets, I just thought to drop a short video on what those announcements are. Now, the first one is we're seeing a massive amount of capital inflows creeping into the financial markets, whether it's the US equities or foreign equities, and also the crypto industry is becoming an increasingly hot potato in that there is massive amounts of liquidity drawing into the Ethereum, where it's actually beaten its all-time high. Now it's hovering $4,700 per ETH token. And similarly, I woke up this morning to find that Bitcoin has actually beaten its all-time high as well. It's $122,000 per Bitcoin, and now it's gone slightly lower into the 120. So it's between the 120k and 122 as we speak. So what does this all mean? Why this euphoria is happening across the space? Well, we all know that the tariff business is continuing to drive that momentum and that push into other assets, stocks and crypto. But more interestingly, we are seeing for the first time that the corporations, those institutional players, they're actually starting to wake up to the fact that they need to start investing quite substantially, particularly within the crypto assets, given the recent approval of the Genius Act governing stablecoin issuers, and also the Clarity Act, which has just been passed in the House of Representatives, and now it's on the Senate to approve and ratify that. Now, the Clarity Bill is quite important because that would set the level playing field from a regulatory standpoint on how to govern the rest of the digital asset tokens. So what I'm trying to say is there's a huge upside potential now, more than ever before, on crypto in general, whether it's Bitcoin from a digital commodity perspective, which is how I'm playing it. I'm putting some of my cash into Bitcoin and holding into the long term because I'm a believer that there is nothing like Bitcoin in order to hold and preserve and even grow your capital wealth into the long term, because it's the global monetary network there is, and it's truly decentralized. For me, other tokens that could be of interest, which I would use at more on a shorter time horizon, would certainly be on the likes of smart contract blockchains like Ethereum, which is the king of all smart programmable blockchain systems, and maybe Solana, and maybe one or two other interesting real-world asset tokenization coin projects. Now, if you subscribe to my channel, I have set up separate podcast series with heaps of videos that will give you the ins and outs of Bitcoin and real-world asset tokenization. So why the euphoria is happening? Well, it's because of the fact that there are more institutional players starting to bank on and invest heavily into crypto and use that as a treasury asset so they can incorporate into their balance sheet. So that is the notion of treasury companies. It's not just the Bitcoin treasury companies that we are seeing altcoin treasury companies doing the same thing as what Michael Saylor and his strategy firm is doing. And that is what is driving this momentum, this euphoria moment that we are seeing at the moment in the financial markets. A lot of crypto investments, a lot of capital drawn into the digital realm. And as a result, for the rest of us investors, the retail investors, that window of opportunity is narrowing. And this is why I felt just to give you this short video to explain that this euphoria is alive and kicking. And we're going to be certainly seeing much more momentum on the institutional space. And also the regulatory standpoint, which I've just talked about, the Clarity Act and the Genius Act, that's also causing this euphoria. So what I'm trying to say is that window of opportunity for the retail investors in order to be able to invest into the digital assets, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the Solana, and maybe one or two additional real-world asset tokenization, which you should use that on a much more shorter time horizon. You should start doing that research and start parting some of your capital into that space before it gets too late. Because as I said, the euphoria has been set and there's tremendous amount of capital drawn in. And of course, as with every type of investment, you need to do your research, but also be aware and mindful for the fact that we're going to be seeing peaks and troughs going on during the course of time, which is all the more reason why I keep advocating and recommending investors that once they've made their decision and they've done their research and they have that high rate of conviction about it, you shouldn't turn away from that. You should just hold on and stick it to the long term. At least for me, Bitcoin, it has to be one of those long-term hedge bets. With Ethereum, Solana, maybe you can use that more of a short to medium time horizon bet plays. And for the new real world asset coin projects, maybe you want to use that in a much more shorter time horizon. But the main message here is, don't get distracted by the euphoria. Do that research. Stick to your guns and conviction. Don't be dissuaded or caught off guard in terms of panic selling, because there will be those dips during the course of time. This is just a normal, natural course of investing. And whenever you have surplus cash that you don't know what else to invest in, well, just do your DCA. So add to those existing positions and just be patient. That is my advice. And also, don't get distracted by any noise caused by the markets, by those politicians who only do it for their own gain and hidden agenda. So that's all I'd like to share with you today. Is a hot potato crypto, and as I said, that window of opportunity is narrowing, and it'll be very unfortunate for the rest of the retail investors, particularly who haven't actually joined this bandwagon, to start acting now before it gets too late. So if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to hit the like button, to share the video to other friends and family and co-workers, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel, as I regularly publish interesting videos such as these, anything to do with Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and real world assets tokenization. So until next time.